Welcome to Covenant of Justice. I'm attorney Isaiah Jerez, and every other week we sit down with remarkable individuals of Southern Nevada who make this such a wonderful place to live. Together, we explore a wide range of topics that matter to the people of Las Vegas and beyond, offering a glimpse behind the glamour of the Strip to showcase the real stories, experiences, and voices that shape our community. I'm attorney Isaiah Jerez. I'm here today with Covenant of Justice, and I've got with me Vanessa Maciel. She's from Jalisco, Mexico, and she is a community organizer. She's an artist. She's a member of the Nevada Arts Council. She's a mother of two, and she is a recreational therapist. So welcome here today. Tell me a little bit about your work with the Nevada Arts Council.
Well, so I've been in Vegas for 9 years, and I learned about the Nevada Arts Council maybe 5 years ago. I was in a pop-up show, and they just came and approached me. They will go to fairs and just find local artists, and they give me their card, and they say that they have grants and all these opportunities for the local artists from around Nevada. So I approach them and I start a process. They open some open calls, and they had this call for becoming a teaching artist. They have different rosters, and I apply for that roster, for the teaching roster. So I think I've been with them 3 years. On 2022, I become part of the teaching roster.
Okay.
With the Nevada Arts Council. Yeah.
And so being on the teaching roster, so you're out in the community helping people fall in love with art, with the idea of what you can do with different materials and different mediums.
Basically they have, if you go into their website, they have a different, a directory with all the teaching artists that they have, and it's different medias. So imagine if you need an artist for your law firm, and you need a muralist, you will go there and look into all the information, and you can find under muralist, and they will have a description kind of their work, a little bit of the bio. Mm-hmm. So that's how I appear in there, in their directory. But you have to have previous experience and certain process to become part of the teaching roster. So I was there. I think it took me about a year to be recognized, because I was part of the teaching roster, but it was kind of quiet. And then the local library started looking for my workshops. So they found me through the webpage from Nevada Arts Council. So from there, I think it's a word of mouth, oh, I had this artist, and she did kind of some workshops, and that's how I've been nonstop doing workshops lately. But it's thanks to the Nevada Arts Council. Previous to that, I would just go to community centers and offer my service for free. I would just tell them, hey guys, I just came from Mexico. I used to be a teacher there. I have all this knowledge, blah, blah. You want a free workshop for the community? And they will say yeah, sure. And then they will have me in community events. I would just volunteer with the police department or in community centers. And it was everything for free. And it was fun. Yeah. And I was a stay-at-home mom because I have 2 little kids. But it was so nice seeing everyone embracing my work. And I was they are interested in knowing more, the background of the work, where it comes from, and how can we just learn more. And it was very nice welcoming to my community. So that's how I start, basically.
Yeah, to be able to go and inspire other people, to motivate them to get into some type of artwork. Do you work in one single media, or do you work in several different types of mediums?
I was very traditionalist when I came to Vegas. I had one media, and I wanted to stick into that only media, because in Mexico, when you go and study with local artisans, if you mix media on your original, I learned cartoneria. So it's kind of cardboard. But if you mix with cardboard, maybe plastic, or you mix clay, for a local artisan, they will be that's not an original technique. So it was for me, it was kind of hard mixing. But after just being in the community, I was all the artists is a normal practice, to start mixing medias. But in Mexico, if you show maybe a piece that you intervene with plastic, or another clay, for example, they will be like, oh, this is not an original. And you will feel like, oh, my teachers are telling me that it's not a good piece, right? So it took me a while to start mixing medias. I think it took me maybe 3 years. And I've been just doing cartoneria and it takes you months to create a whole piece. And now if you mix a little bit of media, maybe clay on some parts, then you will see that it's a little bit faster, but in your mind still like your teacher's saying, this will not be original.
Yeah.
But it's very fun creating. So lately I've been working a lot with clay. Like I think I started last year working with clay. So some of my pieces, instead of being totally cardboard, now I'm doing totally clay. So it's very awesome seeing the whole process too. I mix a lot with recycled materials like trash. People will call it trash. I call it recycle, and nothing is trash. I recycle water bottles, juice bottles, milk cartons. A milk carton can become like something beautiful for your garden. So a lot of pieces that I just recycle, or I'm in Costco and I'm like, oh, I can recycle this box, and then that box becomes like a whole thing. So it's kind of my mixed media. I also did a couple of murals for the city, but in utility boxes, painting with acrylic. So it was also fun.
Yeah, that's pretty good to be able to beautify something that generally people just see as an eyesore.
Yes.
Yeah. And so when you're out there teaching, what are people more drawn to? Because you do use a lot of recyclables when you're creating your art. Are they interested in the recyclables or?
Mainly all my workshops, I just try to do recycle stuff, like a lot of cardboard. I do piñatas. So I was so popular last year with piñatas. I did maybe 20 workshops about piñatas. And people, like, if they came to the first workshop, they will follow me to the next workshops, and I will tell them it is the same piñata thing, but people will keep coming because I don't know, they love piñatas. So those cardboards that you see on the back of Costco, where is the water area, those are so beautiful. Are my favorite because it is like super big sheets. And from there, you can do like high scale piñatas. You can do mini piñatas or mini pieces. And mainly, you don't need to spend a lot of money on your materials. Mainly, you just need also my glue. I create my own glue at home. So it's with water. It's called, I don't know if you guys have it on Colombia. It's called engrudo. And it's flour, water, and a little bit of vinegar. And then you kind of cook it. And it makes a paste. And that one helps you out to be more, your piece will be more hard, and the termites don't get in it because of the vinegar.
Okay.
It'll keep them away. So your piece will last like mainly forever.
And so you talked about these people that come back to the class for the piñata, and you're like, hey, this is the same piñata. There's nothing new to teach. I mean, maybe it's part of them coming because, right, you have the years of experience, but also maybe they find some inspiration in what you're doing.
It's the community, like the community aspect. Like, I will tell you, last December, I didn't have like a workshop or nothing going on, and I was like, I will not be just sitting around with nothing. So I just send out like a flyer, and I say, hey guys, whoever wants to join me, I will do a workshop, but real size piñatas, but it'll be like a traditional. Around the holidays on December, we have these 7 peak stars that represent like the 7 sins. So I was like, around the tradition of holidays, I want to show it to the community. So I send out like the invite for people in my social media, and some people showed up. And then I told them, we are going to do the piñata, the 7 peaks, that is the 7 sins. It's part of our traditions in Mexico. And once we're done, we're doing a posada. So a posada is like a gathering around, I know it's religious related, but mostly it is a tradition that we still, if you're not Catholic or into religion, you keep celebrating because it unifies families, right? So I put out the word outside, and it was full. It was, and also I have a lot of support like from community centers. Irma Varela, she's the director of Winchester Dondero Cultural Center. And she just told me like, yeah, sure, come. And she opened me the space and without hesitation. And I was there every Friday, every single Friday of December. And I thought no one will show up. And it was one of my fullest workshops. And at the end, we did the posada. And I told them, okay, so it's time so we can break the piñata. And then we show the kids, because kids are welcome and families are welcome. And I told them at the end, whoever wants to bring something to share to do the posada, you can bring it on the last day. So they start like, oh, teacher, I can bring this and that. So we had tamales, we have atole, we had buñuelos, like super traditional as we do it in Mexico. Lots of kids running around. Like we have these bolos that it's like a little baggie, a goodie bag with candies, but traditional Mexican candies. And we teach the kids how to sing. We gave them like a sheet. And we did the whole thing about the posada. And some of the moms were saying like, oh, thank you for sharing. So I think it is mainly around the community that they need those kind of gatherings. So maybe that's why piñatas are popular, Catrinas are popular. Mainly everything that it's like Mexican, it'll be popular.
Yeah. Let me ask you a little bit about this a little bit more, because I never heard about the tradition where you...
Posada?
But not necessarily the posada, but where you're making the piñatas to represent the 7 sins. And then a matter of breaking those is a matter of like setting aside those sins. Is that what the idea is?
It is what it is. Like in Mexico, it's very traditional. Even if you don't practice or you don't go regularly to church or every Sunday, it is a thing that we grew up with, being Catholics or Christians. So a piñata has 7 peaks, represents the 7 sins. And it means that when you're breaking that piñata, you're breaking with the 7 sins. And then you're starting your new year without all those sins, leaving behind everything. So you can start a new year like clean. So it's kind of like what we learn around the tradition.
And coming together as a community, not only doing it individually, but as a community. Hey, we're going to be better, right?
Yes.
We're going to come together and, celebrate this.
And
this
singing,
new life.
because you sing villancicos. So it's kind of carols in English. So you have villancicos, but they're like, for kids are like, what is this? What are they saying? So I did like a sheet. And then the tradition is that some people it's outside the door. Some people is inside the door. Lights are on, are off. And you're just lighting. It's representing when Jesus was looking for a place where to Mary give birth to Jesus. So that's the whole representation around it. So when I did that in the community, I told them it is like when we're asking, like for help or something. And I open my house and say like, hey, come in. You turn on the light. And it means that the light is coming to you. And then you open it for everyone and you're welcome into my place. And that's why we have like a meal, like tamales, and we share, because everything we share and it's better in community.
Yeah, it's so beautiful, right? Because when you think about light, you think about Christ. And so turning on that light and inviting the light of Christ into your life or into your home to be there with the family. How does being a mom influence the artwork that you do?
I think I started mainly because I only had one kid, Hanuman. So since he was like super little, he will be creating all the time, or he will be wanted to be around kids. He was the only kid around, right? So I came here and I had no family or nothing. So I had to be creative with him. So what I just did, like, I don't know, everything that I could just make him feel attracted to, I would just create like toys from Mexico. We will create it with newspaper. The toilet paper rolls, I invented for him a little toy, like imagine the Jenga, but it was with different colors, and then he had to build a tower. Or making mask. He would like to build mask and then paint, and that will keep him like super busy. And one day I had like a pop-up show on Tivoli Village. He was kind of 3 years old. And he took Mexican candy and he sat in a little table and start selling his candy next to my things, because he will get bored going into my stuff, like into the pop-ups or whatever, and then he will feel like more into it if I will have him involved. Then he will sell his candy. And I will never forget that time that he was like saying, "Hey, Mexican candy," and all the people will come because he was so cute,
Yeah,
saying like
imagine.
Mexican candy, and he would just say, he will not even charge it. He's like, "Ah, you can just take it," and I was like, "It is your business. You have to charge $1." From that time to now, he still sells everything. He's a little entrepreneur since that, but everything was around them because I didn't have like family, or I didn't know where to go in here. So then Krishna came. It's my second kid, and I started to be a stay-at-home mom. So I had to keep both busy. So I would make them build a fort. One day they built a fort during pandemic, and I saw an art call for kids, and they won first prize. It was also like a lawyer firm, and they won like first prize. They got $200 on a prize, and they saved that money, and they got a trampoline with that money. And then it was another contest from it was a art gallery inside Galleria Mall, and I saw that article. It was also for kids, and I don't remember if it was Krishna. He drew something, and he won also. It was first prize. And then just seeing all that, and they will just know, "Oh, mom, we won. So now we can save that money and buy." They even bought a bouncy house.
Oh,
And
nice.
then they bought, with the same money that they made, they bought a pool, like an inflatable pool. So those things, it'll be like, oh, at least like everything that I'm showing them, it is kind of a really good experience for them. So they're being like super involved in my art. Like if I had a art show, they will be with me. If I have a workshop, Hanuman and Krishna, they will set up the tables, and they will pass out the materials, or they will pass out the paint. Hey, you need any paint or whatever? Or they will serve the glue. Do you need a little glue? Or I introduce myself in every single workshop. And Krishna is more outgoing. He will say like, "Hey, my name is Krishna. If you need anything, let me know."
Oh,
Blah
how
blah.
sweet. Yeah.
So
And he's 7 years old.
he's 7,
That's
and
pretty impressive that he gets up and will introduce himself. And
yes.
yeah.
And then they know how to build piñatas. They know how to build masks. They know how to build like Katrinas, or. But I think like they're being like so involved that now they're like, which museum we're going? Oh, again? Or
Oh.
they know
Yeah.
every single museum, every single library, every single place, because they've been with me like all the time.
Yeah, but what a great way to involve them in your work, right? In the things that you do and the way that you help out the community, and for them to get that type of education, because they're not going to get that anywhere else, right? That is some
Yeah.
pretty valuable experience for them to
And
gather.
sometimes when they say like, "Mom, again another museum," I just think into myself like, when they're older, they will remember, "Oh, my mom took me to this place," or "I will do this with my mom," or I don't know, I take them to the mountains, and I tell them, "Okay, here in the mountains, let's paint, let's hug the trees, let's do." And they're like, "Again?" But I know that in the future they will just keep it in their memories, and they will say like, "Okay, I will just do what my mom teach me what to do."
Yeah, and that is such a precious thing when you see a little kid hugging a tree, because the trees, especially a huge tree, right? They can barely get their arms up against the tree, but
Yes.
yeah, it just kind of reminds you so much of how much the world has to offer, right? I
And
mean,
for
it's
free.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's beauty everywhere, right? If we're looking,
Yes.
and even here in Las Vegas, it took me a while to recognize like how beautiful the desert is, right?
It
When we
is.
go out, of course, Red Rock's beautiful with the color, and Valley of Fire is really beautiful again with the vibrant colors. But even going out to Lake Mead, there's so much beauty out there.
Yeah, I think that's kind of I just say it this way, it's my medicine. Like for me, going to the mountains, I live very close to Red Rock. So every single weekend I'm there. Like I try just to go there, ground a little bit. If we see a windy day, they're like, it's a windy day for a kite.
Oh.
And they know it, like, oh,
Uh,
let's go and fly a kite. Or I don't know, like they see the trees, how I'm telling you, I take them to Mount Charleston and I tell
mhm,
them, like, if you feel like a little bit anxious, angry, or whatever, just hug a tree and you will see how it regulates you, and not like that.
mm,
They will say, like, oh, mom, again, your hug tree thing. And I'm like, yes. Or just being barefoot, like just being barefoot on the sand or whatever in the dirt, just do it.
mhm,
They're like, oh, it hurts on my feet. And I'm
mhm.
like, one day you will remember that it's a very nice practice.
Maybe that's why I see the kids running around the campsite with no shoes on. I'm like, what are you doing? You're going to hurt yourself. But they love doing it. I don't know. Maybe they feel grounded to Mother
Yes.
Earth at some point.
Yeah, more
But
connected, I guess.
yeah,
We need that little connection.
yeah. And so, and then as a recreational therapist, tell me a little bit about this, because this is your employment, right? This is
Yes.
what puts the food on the table.
Yeah. I think I have a year and a half in that position, and I think it's my dream job. Like, I
Mm,
feel so happy every morning waking up thinking that I'm going to the hospital. And um, sometimes we think we help them, and they help me a lot. Like, I just see, a person that has a mental health issue can teach you how important it is, mental health out there. And it's okay to not be okay. And it's okay to ask for help. And it's okay, like, just to be vulnerable. And sometimes
mhm,
because we repress all those emotions, that's how so many things are going on out there, because we have to have like a medium to let it out. Like we were saying, just, you feel stressed, anxious, whatever, go and ground yourself.
mhm,
You feel sad, just go and hug a tree. And kind of those things I do in the hospital. Like we have like a huge courtyard, and whenever it's not super hot and weather permits, it's what I do. We go to the grass and I sit them in the grass and I tell them, just feel the grass. And some of them have a lot of like issues with the sensory sensitivity.
mm,
And I tell them,
mm,
don't be scared. Like I notice the way that you say things to people, it makes a lot of difference. So maybe if they're a little scared of trying something, but if they see you and then you're patient with them, they will try it and they will see that it's healing. We do a lot of painting. Like I'm not really good, a really good painter, but I do a lot of watercolors with them. I think watercolors are very easy, and you can try it at home.
mm.
Very therapeutic. Like just do a walk, just a short walk, and when you come back, try to just doodle whatever you have in your mind with watercolors. And then when you will look into your piece, you will be like, oh, I was able to write or just put my feeling in there. And it's kind of the therapy that I do inside there.
Let me ask you something. This is something I wonder about a lot. Is right. You're talking about the creativity, right? Being able to express what you have inside or what's on your mind, and doing it in the media of watercolors. What about with the availability of it's still art, right? But electronics, right? And so, right, people are so adept to just log on instead of expressing their own creativity, right? What do you think about that, and about that affecting people to be able to ground themselves and to find that mental mental stability?
Like I see it in my kids, right? They are
All of
always
us see it in our kids, right? It's
with their
just part of life. Yeah,
iPad, phones,
yeah.
everything. So, for example, I tell them, your mind, it is out of your body if you're just hook up into that little thing the whole day. So what I
Mm-hmm.
just do, I just take it away, even if they start crying or whatever, and I
Mm-hmm.
make them go and do something different. But are my kids, right? I
Mm-hmm.
cannot force. Maybe in the hospital we don't have a lot of electronics available for them, but we have
Mm-hmm.
a specific class. But that class will only allow them to see like holistic or relaxation music or podcasts that they might help, or music that during the groups we can just put in there. But there's a lot of situations going on with the kids lately, and I think parents, we have the power in our hands, or taking it away and just take your kids outside and just for a little while.
Something unstructured, letting them be themselves, trying to find out a way for them to define themselves other than, just being a set parameters, right?
Yeah. You know, I have a little technique with them at night. Like, I always put a meditation. I follow this, I don't know if you heard about Dr. Joe Dispenza. So he's a really good doctor and therapist. And he talks about a lot of the subconscious mind when kids or they're sleeping, how they can just get information. So what I do, I put them a meditation before going to sleep, and in the morning I will ask them, did you rest really well? And they're like, yeah. They will laugh about my techniques. With they even know the whole process of the meditation, and they laugh, oh mom, Dr. Zhao. But I noticed that their mood is different, and I noticed that their sleep is more deep and profound. So maybe as parents we can use a little bit those tools to help us a little bit more.
And we see this anciently in the scriptures, right? Where the prophets are out there, they're meditating, they're thinking, and when they think and they meditate, that's when they receive these big revelations.
Yes.
Or that's when they receive direction for their lives. And and I think it goes back to what you're trying to express, not only with your kids or in the community, but also as a recreational therapist, is we have this innate
Tools.
sense to create. We want to create, and so how do we express that on the outside?
Yes, we have all these tools. There's a little story that I know, that someone was looking for God. I think this story is from like a Hindu tradition. And like God was on earth, and all the people was following God, like, oh, he's going to be in this place, and all the people will go there. And then he will move to a different place, and all the people will go and find him in that place. And then he thought, I want to do something different so they can look for me, but inside them. So I will hide in their heart. So people, it's always looking outside, but they don't know that God is inside you. So you just, with these techniques of meditation and just grounding, when you're grounded, you can just feel more yourself. Just go inside, and there's God inside you. And that's it.